All right, all right, all right. We are live. Appreciate you guys waiting, and thank you for trying to follow up in this chat. Please hit that like button in case you are confused and wondering who I am. My name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series brand. We have raised over $74,000 thanks to the kindness of good folks such as yourself. In fact, you can read the first 21 pages of brand. I've got a link to the free preview in the description here, but I also have a new comic book in the description here. And I got a look at this the other day. It looked really interesting. It's called Captain Love, the Hero of the Cleansing. And please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Drew Eash. How are you, sir?
I am doing very well. Thank you for having me on your stream, Antonio, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. This is what we're here for. We live to serve, as they say, because there were definitely people in the beginning, especially when I had like 15 YouTube subscribers and trying to promote a comic, and people would just say, "Hey, can you come on? You can come on my channel." So the best thing to do in situations like that is to obviously pay it forward and try to spotlight a couple of projects like yours, and hopefully people will support it, and your book will get funded, and and more, we want to build this community. We have an amazing community of comic book creators, and a lot of them have been on this channel. I just love comics. I love geek stuff. So this is fun, talking about comics and stuff. So
I know I dig it too. In fact, I didn't even know this community existed. I thought I was just telling you offline that I've been doing I've been on YouTube for a long time, and I didn't even know that this particular geek community existed, because my side of YouTube didn't really deal with too much of the Star Wars talk and the comic book talk. It was mostly straight video entertainment comedy, and do-it-yourself videos, and simple how-to stuff, and business education stuff, and techniques and tricks. That's usually where most of my subscription base existed, in those things. So when I found Comicsgate through a hashtag on Twitter, I tell you, that changed everything, because then I found a whole new group. And it's funny that I actually found Comicsgate before I found the Fandom Menace, because well, it actually is. It blows my mind, because you would think that I would have found that first, considering I actually am one of those people that sat down, and when I watched The Force Awakens, I was so just appalled and disappointed, I actually cried.
I got it. Yeah, I didn't like The Force Awakens. Well, here's the thing about The Force Awakens. I'll say, when I went into The Force Awakens, I kept, as a matter of fact, I'm mad at Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith got to go to the set, and he was like, "This is what we've been missing." And it's like, the franchise is safe in J.J. Abrams' hands, and he got it right. Whatever you thought about the prequels, J.J. got it right. And I went in there, and I was like, this is the same. This is A New Hope. This is George's movie, and it's just got people in it that I don't care about.
Yeah, it was like recreated the same exact. Yeah, so like before it came out, I was trying to be positive, because I mean, all right, I'm at the age to where I was just a little pup when Star Wars came out. I was a baby. Not a baby. I was so I was like 5 years old when I saw Star Wars in the theaters. The very first time, A New Hope. Okay. And so
I saw it on HBO, and I saw Empire Strikes Back on HBO. I was like 7 when I saw Empire Strikes Back. So
yeah, I might be a little older than you.
Yeah, then, right? I'm 40. I'm 44. I'll be 45 in just 3 more months.
So I'm just a couple of years older than you. But but I saw Star Wars, like, because it came out, when I was 5 years old. And my father and sister took me to go see it in the theaters with them, because we were big TOS fans. We didn't call it TOS then, but we were Star Trek fans. So we thought, okay, this is going to be neat. This is the first like real sci-fi movie of its kind. We've never seen them on the big screen like this before. The commercials for it were amazing, So we were sold. We were going. It was like this big family adventure. I remember it was this big, huge family adventure. It was this big thing. My mom didn't care, so she didn't go. But it was still like the three of us, and so it's like burned into my like life as like one of my happy family moments was going to Star Wars together, as and then it's one of my few good memories of my father, which is really lame. So and then but then I remember going to the theater to see Empire Strikes Back by myself. One of the first times I went to the movie theaters by myself was to see Empire Strikes Back. And I remember Yoda. I was like, oh, that was just so awesome. And then the scene when Luke was on Dagobah, and he faced Darth Vader, and we still didn't know Darth Vader was his father, but he, that whole thing where he sees his own face in Vader's like, is he battling with himself? What's going on with that? And we didn't realize that.
Wait a minute, hold up, Alan. I got Drew. I got to. Sorry to interrupt you, but we just got this comment from Alan Walker in the chat, and he said he just back, Captain Love, and he said the book looks awesome. So that's awesome. That's what we want to do. Appreciate you supporting these great creators that we have on the channel.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much, man, Alan. That. Every customer is cherished by me.
Absolutely, okay? Absolutely.
And I got plans to try and make this book to be more than valuable. So stick around and hear all the stuff that's going to be super magic about this book. We're talking Star Wars, so we're going to babble for a second.
Well, I mean, yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's all connected. It's like video games and geek culture. Star Trek, Star Wars, all that kind. I've noticed. That's the beauty of just being a nerd. It kind of all is like, as long as you're talking, because it seems like if I talk about football, my audience walks away because I like football. But for whatever reason, I talk about football and they leave. I've got a lot of pro wrestling fans in the audience, though. It is like, and we've got a podcast that we just started last week called the Wrestling Council, and we rotate that out. Me and a couple other gentlemen, we rotate between each other's channels. So I'm hosting this week on Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. But
pro wrestling is another thing that's also unique to our age group because it didn't exist on television except for when we were children at first. You remember the whole Hulk Hogan and Roddy Ryder Piper and all that stuff. I remember how that was like an adventure that everything would wait for, and then there was a large toy assessment that went with that. So
the merchandising on Star Wars is crazy.
It is.
That's what was. I don't know if you saw that. They had a Netflix. They had the Toys That Made Us documentary thing. The documentary series they did like G.I. Joe, Barbie, He-Man, Star Wars. They were doing all this, and one of the things when they talked about, because George kind of got screwed on the initial, because nobody believed. They was like, nobody thought this was going to be a multi-billion-dollar property.
Yeah, there were no toys before the movie. It came out. All the toys came afterwards. I remember that. I remember when the toys came out because there really weren't. I mean, also if you think about it, I mean, if you remember, there weren't too many action figures that went along with series and shows and stuff back then. You could get like Batman stuff because there was Batman cartoons, and you could get Superman stuff because there was, Superman. But there really wasn't there really wasn't like G.I. Joe toys. The G.I. Joe at that point was like those tall dolls, and they looked
the bigger.
Right. The toys were very different back then. It was the first time that the action figures, I remember the first ones that I remember, there were other toys like it, but the first time I remember were like, there was like really cool action figures that you could carry in your hand. And then you know what I mean? And then everybody started copying what they did, and I definitely, it's like, I remember this stuff. Star Wars. I mean, they led so many different, genres of entertainment and toys. And I mean, they led the way, and then I was going to say this earlier is like, I was so disappointed when I heard that J.J. Abrams was going to do Star Wars because, at the time he was doing Star Trek movies.
And I didn't like his Star Trek either, if I'm being honest.
No, and I hated what he did to Star Trek movies. I hated it. So I was like, he's gonna fuck up Star Wars.
Oh, like when they did the Khan reveal in the, what was it, Into Darkness, and I mean, and they have a guy that's been nominated for multiple Academy Awards, Benedict Cumberbatch, and I was like,
yeah,
okay.
It was just all wrong. It was just all wrong.
It just didn't feel right. But what's sad is you see some of the interviews with J.J. Abrams, and he admits that he really didn't like the series coming up and everything.
Well, the thing is J.J. Abrams got into so the thing that was the biggest mistake about that happened to Star Wars, and I knew this too when he sold Star Wars to Disney. I thought initially that would be cool because Disney didn't destroy Jim Henson, right? And Jim Henson
Very
and Star
true.
Wars were working together, so I was thinking, hey, that would be cool, right? And then Kathleen Kennedy, is that her name? Whatever.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy.
She did some interviews about how she was saying, "Oh, but we're going to change Star Wars. We're gonna make it, reach for a new audience and try and find people that weren't Star Wars." I'm like, so what about the people that are Star Wars fans already?
Mm.
What are you doing for them?
It's not for you anymore.
Right. No, basically, it's like we screw everybody who actually was attracted to this thing that we created, and these people drew into that, and then this became a culture. Screw all these people. Let's make it different. You know what I mean? And let's try and force it on women who don't give a crap. Let's force it on. Let's try and make it more diverse. We weren't diverse enough. And I'm like, what do you mean that we're diverse enough? You had aliens all over from everywhere. That's pretty diverse.
Especially, like when they put Billy D, because Billy D. Williams has talked about when they cast him as Lando Calrissian, there weren't a lot of black actors in that franchise. And, George Lucas said he even got some blowback for having Billy D. Williams in the movie, but he was just like, he's the perfect guy. And obviously history, you flash forward 35, 40 years and everybody's like, why wouldn't anybody want Billy D. Williams in the movie? But there was hate mail and nasty, stuff said and all that kind of stuff then. And,
right.
But now everybody's like, oh, it's Billy D. Everybody loves him. What's going on?
And like Billy D is not enough now. I mean, but here's the thing. It's like you got the 5 main characters, right? 2 of them are guys that are white, right? One of them's a woman. One of them's, African-American, right? And then the other one's a big, tall, walking dog.
But it's like, man, like the originals, like Star Wars to me, that was especially Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And that was the thing, Return of the Jedi, I was the right age to see that stuff.
Right.
I had some people that were like 19 when they saw Return of the Jedi, and they were like, they put these like cuddly teddy bears with spears in their head. I was like, I was 8, so I was sitting there going, yeah, teddy bear.
It was cool though. It was cool. I mean,
I went back to the theater and watched Return of the Jedi again. I went to see it a couple times, and I was like, they was like, you just watched it. I was like, I want to watch it again. And
Return of the Jedi, the jet bikes. What do they call those?
The speeders or whatever.
I forget the term is right now. It's slipping my mind, but. Those
I actually had one of those when I was a kid. Kenner had the toy license.
Yeah, that was my dream vehicle. Still is. I mean, in all reality, still is to this very day. When they create a hover bike, you know what I mean. That's what it was, hover bike. When they create a hover bike, I am so getting one. I'm so getting one. I so want one. It has been my dream vehicle from when I could dream about having a vehicle. So.
Well, I actually have your vehicle pulled up right now. This is Captain Love, the hero of cleansing. You launched how many days ago did you launch this?
I launched this on the 1st. Well, actually on the 2nd specifically. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's only been up for like 3 or 4 days. So.
Oh, okay, cool. And I see you got some backers, and you're at. What, 600 and that's
625. Yeah.
It's because I hadn't refreshed it. I pulled it up, but for the sake of social media, let's actually get into it and see what this is. Let me see if you got any. Okay, so you just got the video up here, and okay, so
that's the cover of the book right there. Yeah,
looks really good. What this is different. Is this like Buck Rogers? What are you doing with this?
Okay, so it's kind of, I mean, obviously it's Buck Rogers obviously is very different because he's a man from the 80s in the 25th century. But what Captain Love is he is basically a space trucker and former war hero.
Like Big Trouble in Space.
Kind of like Big Trouble in Little China, but like in the future, yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
You said that. Oh, like, okay.
Yeah, very much. See, like, okay, one of my favorite movies, believe it or not, is a Kurt Russell movie. Actually, Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors. But if you ever see that movie Soldier, you know what I mean? where he was from a child raised to be a soldier, and then they threw the soldiers away, and they actually
Oh,
threw
I'm
him
about to
away
say, I
on a
thought for a
trash
second there, I
planet.
thought you were talking about Solo, that movie with Mario Van Peebles,
No.
where he was the kind
It's
of
Soldier with yeah, but it is the name of the movie, Soldier, and it never got really huge.
Oh, okay.
I fell in love with it when I saw the movie poster, and then it's one of my favorite all time movies. He doesn't really speak that much in it because he's just a real quiet soldier. And it's mostly his expressions, and if you have not seen it, I recommend it. You should check it out.
Okay, so yeah, that definitely sounds like something I need to peep out.
Yeah, definitely. But that's one of the elements that inspires this movie because his character was really cool in that, and so that's why Captain Love is kind of an anti-hero. He really is reluctant to all the stuff he gets into. You know what I mean? He just kind of like stumbles into all this stuff these days. You know what I mean? It's but that's actually future adventures. This particular book is designed around telling who Captain Love is and how he got the title, the hero of the cleansing, because that's Captain Love is the hero of the cleansing. So, and then he has a artificial intelligence companion who is basically an escaped it's a rogue AI. It's an escaped independent thought, and she's like alive, and she's his companion. And now there's a really cool stuff involved with that. Like, for instance, when he was in the cleansing, which is a huge war between the corporations and the planets, which is explained a little bit more in the book, he got injured to the point of near death. And they gave him an optical implant with audio also. And there's a computer that exists in his head that operates his optic and audio implants. Well, because she is the ability, so SPADE is her name. It stands for Synchronous Protocol Artificial Intelligence Delegate. And what that means is that she's able to exist in multiple computers at once, and she can hack any network that's reachable. So
is
basically,
that her here in the corner here?
That is her right there. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, because the ship here it kind of looks like a cross between a bus and like an X-wing fighter.
Yeah, I have heard that before. I get the X-wing because of the four wing thing. The actual design was like that, so that it's like, say if you're on a heavy gravity planet, you know what I mean, or a planet that has a lot of gravity, you can land back into first. Like, say because one of the things, it doesn't do it in this book, but one of the things this hauler was designed to do is pull a long train of stuff behind it. You know what I mean? So it's able to, because there's not drag in space. You can haul a lot of stuff behind if you just move it, right? It can. The hauler is 3 stories tall, has a huge, dock that can hold a lot of stuff inside the hauler itself. But it's also able to pull a long string of things. And then obviously it would have to land that stuff down onto a planet unless the planet has another method of getting shipments down. So obviously having 4 rockets spaced apart from each other helps bring that down, and then once the load is brought to the ground, it detaches, and then he can shoot back off and land normal.
So tell me about your team on this. Are you the artist on this, or are you just a writer, or what?
I'm the writer on this. That the idea was basically mine, and the illustrator is named Andrea Bormida, and he's just amazing. His artwork, I adore it. I honestly have nobody. I mean, I can compare it to like several different artists, but I don't know any single artist that I can compare him to, which is something that I really like, because a lot of illustrators, mimics, like a single artist, and he doesn't seem to mimic anybody that I'm familiar with, but so I really love that about his artwork. His style is kind of original.
Is he coloring as well? Because the colors are interesting.
Yeah, the colorist is actually a guy named Slamit. I always screw his name up unless I'm reading it. It's Slamit Mohino.
Slamit Mohino. Yeah, it sounds like a cocktail or something.
It does. It does kind of sound like a mix of instructions on how to drink a drink.
Yeah, let me get a double Mohino.
Yeah, exactly. let me slam it, that Mohino. Make it fun. I mean, he's an extremely talented colorist, and I'm lucky to have him on my team.
Because when you contacted me, I started looking at the color. I was like, okay, very nicely illustrated. Great colors on the page. You know, I wish people would pay more attention to stuff like that when they set these campaigns up. That's one of the things I know when we, you know, as we wrap up this first campaign and we get ready to launch Way of the Gun, I'm trying to make sure I have some of the interior pages and stuff colored and ready. You know what I'm saying? So people can actually see what's going on.
Well, this is an important factor. This book is done. I paid for this completion of this book out of my pocket. This book has been done since May. It is all ready to go. It just needs to go to the printer, and then I'm gonna basically decide on how many copies get printed based on where this campaign starts to go. So like when my period of my time frame starts to get to the end, I'm gonna make sure that I have my order in. You know.
Oh, wait, man, hold on. I'm looking at this image here, man.
There
This
you
one
go.
caught my eye. Look like it's getting a little low there. I could have went with just a little lower if you know this is I really like this shot with the this is one of the main characters though here, this young lady, right or no?
Okay, so what we have here in this in the red there is the Queen of Venus. Now Venus is the pleasure planet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On Venus, all women are only citizens on that planet. Men are only considered guests, and most people decide to go to Venus to get away from it all, to take their vacations, you know, that kind of stuff. So,
So it's like Ryza in Star Trek.
It is a lot like Ryza, except it's a lot more adult than Ryza.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Obviously, on television, I'd love to see a more mature Star Trek where they could show a little. But you know, that's the whole. Ryza's the pleasure planet. Anything you can do, literally whatever. And I love when they go there and like if you're looking for company, you put the little statue out or whatever, and somebody's supposed to. I always love that idea. But then whenever you would go there, obviously, whenever they set the book on Ryza or they set the show on Ryza, so all of a sudden someone would show up and get, you know, blown up or something.
Right. It was always ruined. There was never an actual Ryza episode. You know what I mean? There was the one where Picard went to Ryza. It was probably the closest one. And then what was it? Vosk was her name? Vosk was the one that he met there, and then they went on that archaeological expedition.
And then she ended up going off with Q and everything. And
right. That was, and it's like for Picard, he's always getting this shit into the stick, you know.
Well, that's the thing. They talked about that. You know, was it? I know what's the guy, Rick Berman. I think he was one of the producers on the show, and they talked about the whole thing about Picard's married to his work. He's an explorer, and you know they've done a few of those episodes where he's talking about, man, I don't know what I would have, you know, maybe I shouldn't have got married. Or, you know, he's like, I don't think I could have got married and had a family. And then that episode, The Inner Light, which is always listed as like a top 10 Star Trek Next Generation episode, where he actually lived an entire life.
Yeah, from that little probe they saw. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Next Generation episode. That
has been amazing. That's such.
That one still makes me cry, and I mean I'm not afraid to admit that things like that make me cry. That one actually pulls a tear from my eyes because it's just so damn beautiful.
And the flute song that he kept playing, which I think they're actually going to have him with the flute again in the new Picard series is coming. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm excited about that. I'm actually going to have to. I'm going to have to actually sign up for CBS All Access just because, so I can watch it.
I was watching that Discovery. It was that first season. I was like, it had some problems, but I'll give it a chance. Second season, okay.
Yeah, no. When I saw where they were going with that, I didn't even bother. I didn't. I mean, obviously, it's good. I mean, I imagine the writing because it's you know it's still the Star Trek people. I imagine the writing's pretty decent. I haven't seen it, so I can't say. I'm saying
But it's like they changed. But then they were like, this is a separate universe and all this kind of thing.
Right? They changed the Klingons. They changed everything. It's like a parallel universe. Yeah, it's just completely stupid.
Klingons look so much more. That was when I saw those aliens. I was like, oh, they're aliens, and they said they're Klingons. I was like, those are Klingons?
Yeah, they didn't even look mean enough to be Klingons.
Yeah, but the whole thing just looked strange to me. You could have literally put an old school Klingon on there and then put those next to them and they could have just been a different species that was warring with the Klingons.
Right.
That did not look like Klingons to me.
They should have stuck to canon. That's what they should have done.
I was like, dude, it's like someone gave you, a $200-something-thousand Porsche, and you just drove it off a cliff, man.
Yeah, you were, and the thing is, that's what I hated about that's the thing. Same thing I hated about J.J. Abrams doing Star Trek. You know what I mean? It's like, and I feel as though the people running Star Trek, since Roddenberry is not around, and time has passed since the people that were working with Roddenberry, they're all retired, or dead,
Yeah.
So the fact that the series has just been basically bastardized. And that's horrible. It's like people think, instead of respecting the existing canon, they're trying to make their own new canon that they identify with. Like they're trying to just basically take a property that somebody else created and try and twist it and make it theirs. And that's okay in some scenarios if like I can understand like somebody taking like the story of Frankenstein and twisting that to make it their own. But not like just retelling the same story and screwing it up. And then, okay, well, Frankenstein's monster is now, a three-legged dog. What? You know what I mean? It's
Frankenstein's monster is trans.
Right.
What?
And he has issues with his makeup, and you're like, what? You know what I mean? No, that's I mean, they do that in kids cartoons a lot. I see that happen where they do crazy things with those kind of genres, but it just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
Absolutely. I'm getting a reaction to this image that from I guess this is on Venus still.
Yes, that's awesome. Venus.
Yeah. Now, see, this is the type of stuff that I want Kanan to draw, and Kanan won't draw this stuff. Like me and Kanan, we argue. I was trying to explain to him. I was like, look, they're gonna be having sex. He's like, I don't want to draw stuff. And I was like, I like this. I was like, I saw this. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. It's not too graphic. This is the kind of thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send some of this to Kanan. I was like, this is what I want. This is the kind of stuff that I want.
Well, there's racier content in the book. I just can't put it online like this. So.
Oh man, because no, trust me, the chat's loving this because I'm loving it. Book looks beautiful, man. Nicely, just everything. And how many pages? I meant to ask you that. How many pages is the comic?
So the book itself is 72 pages. But
wow.
Yeah, okay. But so it's 62 pages of story. A few pages of devoted extras, like splash page, and there's a diagram of the hauler, and then there's some obviously there's like lots of just color extra, so it's I say 72 pages because people wonder what the page count is, as far as thickness and goes. So it's 62 pages of story. A few pages of extras, and then there's like a rich color with text and stuff like that, a portrait of Captain Love, it's so even the pages that don't have anything on it are high quality pages. They're rich colors. In fact, I actually have a PDF of it that I will be willing to flash later if you want to show people some of that stuff. So like the stuff they can't see on this. So.
Oh, okay. Let me see now. Let me ask you this. That's one of the things about when I talk to different creators. Is your art being created traditionally, or is it being created digitally?
He works digitally, but yeah, he does.
That seems to be like everybody does now.
Well, it's actually more convenient for us because he's in Italy. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and the colorist is in the Philippines. So
there's so many great colorists in the Philippines.
Well, I have no idea what that is. Maybe because it's so freaking beautiful there, you appreciate color differently,
Well, I had the pleasure of hiring Jimbo Salgado. Some people in the chat might recognize that name if they bought Ravage Kill All Ben. It was written by Chuck Dixon and Ben Henderson. But Jimbo Salgado did a Dark Santana piece for me almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. But he did one. And a guy that colors a lot of his artwork is a guy named Brian Magne, and he also worked on Ravage Kill All Men. I guess Jimbo recommended him and stuff because he contacted me. He sent me a DM and he was like, "Hey, Antonio, I saw Jimbo did this piece for you. If you need anything colored, let me know." And I was like, I said, "Oh, I definitely will," because he does great work. And I saw some here. He sent me some samples and stuff. And my colorist actually left. My original colorist actually left, and then I had to hire a new colorist. And he was one of the guys I was going to contact, but then you know, me and Kanan were doing a search because Kanan's super picky about who colors him. And we end up finding this guy that we call Kid Icarus, and his samples were, you know, when I show Kanan the page and Kanan goes, yeah, and I was like, because I could tell when Kanan's not feeling it, because I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And he was, yeah, I don't he doesn't like it, but I showed him Icarus. He was like, man, this is great. So he was excited again, and you know, I definitely want Kanan to be, you know, he's my partner. I want him to be engaged and really.
It is really important. It's really I cannot express to anybody out there who's a writer that works with illustrators that relationship. I mean, a colorist, you can come and go. You can find another colorist replace your colorist. I mean, you know, a good colorist is important. Don't hesitate on understanding that. But the relationship with your illustrator, the illustrator has to be almost as passionate about the product as you are, even though, you know, even if you're paying him to do it, you know, because if he's not passionate, it'll show in the work. It'll
absolutely.
And the fact I got him so hyped on this project when we first started it up. He actually has never. This is his first property that's made it to an American audience. He worked on.
It looks amazing. It really does, man. Great job on these. Yeah. All the art, everything just looks top notch, man. This is great.
He worked on a comic, that black and white comic, an Italian one called Nathan Never, for quite a while. So he's got like 30 years of experience. I mean, when he showed me what he, you know, his sample work that he had done himself, I was all like, this guy is great. Let's see if we can make this work. And then we figured out how to work together and all that kind of stuff. And then when he showed me what he was doing with Captain Love, man, I just lost my shit. It was so awesome. You know, in my mind, I had a prevision, you know what I mean, of what it would look like when it was done. He took the illustrations to a whole nother level than what I was imagining. Which like sometimes I would say, this is what I'm thinking in this, and he would do something completely different than what I was communicating. And at first I'd be mad. That's not what I said. You know what I mean? But then I would look at it like for a day or two, and I'd be like, no, that's actually a lot better. I'm like, you know.
Well, I really like this piece here. That I guess, is this an alternate cover, or is this just a pinup?
That's the variant cover right there. Yes.
Okay. Is he the artist on this one as well, or no?
Yes, he is. He is. Yes.
Okay, because I was like, look at this, man. This looks great.
Yeah.
I really like the way this looks.
Yeah, he is amazing. I am definitely privileged to have him working on my stuff. And okay, so like this book is done, and we actually already have another book in the works called Rise the Pirate King, and that one we're doing in 6 chapters. And then each
definitely I'll have you back on when you do that one too. Then
they're releasing individually as 6 chapters, and they're going to be staple stitch chapters as collector's items, and then they're going to be limited runs, and then after all 6 of those, we're going to release it again as a graphic novel. And then we're going to be doing this little business model. Hopefully, this is going to prove to be a good idea, where I release everything on Indiegogo for collectors first. For Comicsgate and hardcore collectors, we're doing campaigns so the books that come out through this print run would be the first run of these books, and they will have all kinds of exclusive features that will never exist again. And like these first 6 chapters, like the next book, the 6 chapters that come up will only be available. So like if the Indiegogo audience buys up the entire run, you know what I mean? They will never exist anywhere else. They'll never be at a convention unless somebody's moving it as a secondary product. So, you know, ideally this is a collector's approach. And like that variant cover you saw, that's only going to be on this print run. It's just for this campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll obviously, now that I have my files and stuff, I want to keep brand in print in different forms, because that was something me and Kanan were talking last night, and he's been wanting to do art book. So we're going to publish, we're going to publish through Akari Press. We're going to publish a Kanan White art book. It's probably about 24 pages. But one of the things I told him, and I was like, because everybody's been asking for a black and white edition of brand. So when we do the art book, that'll be one of the other things that you can add on to your order. It'll be brand black and white. And so we'll have a black and white version of the book. And, different. I mean, we've got so many different ideas that we can do. Yeah. And I really,
I could totally do a black and white version of Captain Love, but the it's so beautiful with the colors. I you know, I would
yeah, but
hate.
that's why you have both. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you want the black and white version? You want the, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
um,
I guess maybe down the line, maybe like after a few books come out, I'll release a black and white version for hardcore people that really want those, and then that'll be like a fresh again for them. That'd be kind of neat, you know.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I have the files in just line format, of course, before the colors, you know. So I mean, I could easily produce the book that way. I just never even like thought of doing it, you know. So
Right, right.
anytime.
All right. I am talking with Drew Ish. He has a book called Captain Love, the Hero of the Cleansing. Very thrilled to have him, showcasing his project here today. It looks really cool, as you guys can see on the screen here. We're going to talk about your perks now, Drew.
Okay.
This is your one thing you need a featured perk. That is always the thing that I tell people. It's like you need to go through whatever, like when we get off the air or whatever, go through your list of perks, and whichever one you think is the best, you need to hit that feature thing by it so that when people go to your page, it'll put it right at the top. It'll
Yeah.
showcase it. So
In all reality, I kind of thought that this first perk, I was going to think that it's the most important one for me for people to get. So I hadn't done the featured perk. I was actually planning on making a special perk just to feature after the campaign been alive for a week. That was actually my plan.
okay, but yeah, I definitely, like I said, the reason. And now here's the drawback on that. You need to strike while the iron is hot, because when you first list the campaign, they put you in the new listing section.
Yes,
that's where you're getting that traffic from. So you don't want to wait till after they pull you from you're only up there for like a week or whatever.
There are some. I talked to some people that because Indiegogo will let you communicate with them. They're not really easy communicating. There's a little bit of back and forth with the emails. Got to ask the same thing 3 or 4 times to get the answer. But apparently, there's a lot of ways to leverage a campaign within Indiegogo. And hopefully not just the new listings, but the search factors and stuff like that. I should hopefully continue to get traffic through their feed. But I'm not relying on that resource as much because I saw the numbers come through, right? And this smallest tier right here is just the book. It's $20, shipping included. You know what I mean?
Right,
you don't have to pay extra. And I mean, so you pay $20, you're getting this book, to your house, getting to you by Christmas.
By the way, what's your shipping like on that?
That's the shipping. There's no shipping on that. That $20 is if you're domestic. If you're in the United States, there's no shipping.
Free U.S. shipping.
Yes, it's
wow,
it's built into the cost on that perk. Yes.
Okay.
And then so like if you're out of the U.S., I take the value from what would be that I would discount the domestic, and I apply that discount to the out of the country shipping amounts. So
let's see. Okay, so King Crow says, "Great looking book, Drew. I really respect the people that finish their projects before launching the campaign." And I would agree with that. But a lot of people, like say myself, just didn't have the resources to be able to complete a big project like Brand. Hopefully what I want to accomplish is, I've noticed Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, as his campaigns have generated more money, now he can just lay back and he doesn't have to rush something out. He can sit back, and he's already got 4. I was talking to him last night. He's got like 4 comics that are being worked on all at the same time. So as we grow, as more people, hopefully we get some repeat business. Then you got like a little war chest, and you'd be like, all right, Kanan, let's get this book done. And then, or at least, because Kanan's already going to have, he's going to be about 10, 15 pages in when I launch. He'll already be started. Whereas opposed to, I launched the campaign last year, and Kanan wasn't able to really, really start on it until right at the beginning of the year, because he was working on another comic. So, that now that I'll have him completely focused and being able to get, he's already, started to get paid and all that kind of thing. I really am, I'm wanting a quicker turnaround. not to mention I want to, then after this I can do the art book thing that he and I had talked about, and then he can go off and draw some book called Fearsome with Ethan Van Sciver, which I would really, really like to see. So,
yeah. Well, you just explained the hard side of the entire comic book industry as far as for creators, because people usually don't have the money to actually create a comic book themselves, because it costs over $10,000 to create a comic book. You know what I mean? Unless like you're doing just 24 pages.
No, dude, I've dropped about 40.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can. I mean, yeah. I mean, it costs. Everybody, depending on who you work with, there's different values. But
because I'm telling you, everybody on my team has worked for like Marvel, DC, Boom, IDW, all these different companies. So they're all pros and everything. So, man.
I'm not gonna disclose the page rates that I pay, but I pay a good wage to my illustrator also. But
not paying him in cereal.
I'm not paying him in we do our transactions through PayPal, and when he finishes a page, if he uploads one, he uploads 20, I pay him for what he uploads. You know what I mean? So we have an immediate turnaround. He doesn't have to wait for his money or anything like that. As soon as the page is done and it's uploaded, he gets paid. So
I do that with my colorist as well. Kane is my partner, so our me cutting him his cut is different, but like the other people on the team, when they finish pages, like now I advance my letterer. Like when I've got pages for him to letter, I'll go, okay, I've got 15 pages for you to letter. So I have to, I know his page rate, boom, set that up for him and shoot that over to him. But my colorist, he'll be like, hey, I got 2 pages, and he'll shoot me, so I'll pay him for the 2 pages that he does.
Right, and that makes sense. I mean, especially if your illustrator and you are sharing the risk, so you share the reward.
Absolutely.
I'm burdening 100% of the risk. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a little different. But it's kind of scary. You know what I mean? This kind of stuff, because this is my first comic book. It's kind of scary, and I mean, I actually, had savings. Well, actually, I sold something to actually be able to do this. I sold something that was, like not the most important thing to me, but I was able to pull enough money together from selling this to pay for all of this. And then also I actually, let me just say, I didn't have enough to continue paying for it. I had enough to pay for this, for Captain Love, but then I wanted to keep it going. And so I've been paying for the next book, which is chapter 1, and then that chapter 1's with the colorist. That next book, I've been paying for that actually on plastic.
That's I've talked, and some people have been following me for the last 6 months, a year. They know I've talked about my story as far as I would tell people about brand. They were like, "This is stupid." They didn't understand what I was trying to do. And, they just thought the idea was stupid. And, I had so many people. It's so funny. And it's funny because some of those people now that they sit there like, oh, my God, how did you make that money? And they just didn't get the vision. They didn't understand what the story was. It was like, okay, so this guy's a beekeeper and he's fighting what? I don't understand. And, they didn't get what I was trying to explain to them. It was like, it sounds like you're very passionate about it, but this doesn't really sound very marketable. And this, and I tried for so long, to get someone to, see what I was seeing. And I talked to a lot of, that's actually how I met Elliot Fernandez. He was one of the first artists I found on Instagram, and I contacted him about doing some promotional art for me. And he just wasn't really. It's funny that we're friends now, because I talked to Elliot, he called me. He's at New York Comic Con this week. I think it's table H19, if I'm not mistaken, at New York Comic Con. I know tomorrow's the last day. And but me and him, I rag him about that all the time now, because he's like, I didn't mean to blow you off, but I just didn't want to draw a comic, and I didn't know. He's like, it was something that you were excited about, but I wasn't excited, Right. So it was kind of crazy. But then someone liked his one of the pictures he posted on his Instagram. His Instagram's got like 125,000 followers on it, and I happened to see that one of the people that liked it was a guy by the name of Kanan White. And I clicked on Kanan's profile and I started seeing all this art. I was like, oh, what is this? Oh, and I said, let me contact this guy. And it is, I said, let me see if he'd be interested in, at least doing some promotional pieces. He's a pro, so he'd probably be way too expensive for me. But at least if I can at least have a couple of promotional shots, I can take that to a cheaper artist and at least try to copy that look. And, when I reached out to Kanan, he was like, hey, this actually sounds really cool. And so he did another piece and another piece and another piece. And by the time I launched the first campaign, I had spent like $5,000, on colors and black and white, just all this. I'd spent so much money, and I got down to my last, I failed the first campaign, 60 days, raised $95 on Indiegogo. Then I moved over to Kickstarter. We got up to like 18. And, and Ethan Van Sciver sent me a DM and he was like, hey, he said, won't you relaunch that on Indiegogo and just come on my channel? He said, I think we can get you funded. And he invited me on and was so generous. And obviously it worked out this time, but I was down to my last $84. I had maxed my cards out.
Right.
But I just believed. Other people told me it was stupid, but I believed in what I was doing.
No, that's awesome. No, and I got mad respect for that for many reasons. I mean, personally, I didn't let myself, get to a point yet to where I'm going to be broke, because I actually have my own business, you know what I mean, that I actually, that I do marketing and printing for other people. And I mean, I print brokering. I don't actually do printing. I broker printing.
I'm about to say, are you a comic printer? Because, a lot of comics game people could, I was like, if you got to deal with
I don't have, I actually, finding a printer that specialized in comic books that I could trust was a challenge. Who
are you gonna do? Is there anyone you can say? Is there because that's what I'm saying. People are always asking this type of information.
Okay, there's a few different companies depending on your approach, right? If you're going to do a run of 1,000 or more, if you're going to run 1,000 or more regardless, the best choice that I have found looks like Print Ninja.
Print Ninja is awesome, but I know it takes almost 2 months to get the books back though.
Well, you can pay fast. You can pay for the expedited shipping, which makes sense if you're going to do a run through Indiegogo. If you already know, again, like this is, I'm thinking business model. I'm not thinking, doing this with no money. I'm thinking like, I'm going to have the money, in my own pocket, and then. It's kind of like how I do credit, it's like the money I spend, I know that I have it somewhere to replace it on a credit card usually, somewhere, it's like, I could sell something right now and pay off all my credit cards if I had to, you know what I mean? But if I don't sell it, I can sit on it and let that build money. And, but I'm 46 years old. I've spent my whole life, trying to, actually when the recession hit, I was completely devastated. So ever since the recession recovery, I have been working, at collecting stuff to have, value to my life. You know what I mean? So I've established good credit. I have,
my credit. That's one thing I will say about my credit. My credit, what was it? They ran it. It was like 7 something. I was like, my credit was off the hook, man. It was like 744 or something. I was like, it was, I've got, trust me, when, early car payoff, all this kind of stuff. So even though I was like, man, this is a gamble and it's not working out in my favor. And I kept looking and I was like, man, I spent a couple grand on this card,
It's stressful, man. It's super stressful. I give you mad props for doing that, man. Cause I mean, I spent my entire savings, right? And then I moved over to my credit, when I did that, my heart dropped. I mean, I have income. I have a good steady source of income, but to just so we be clear, because I have that steady source of income, I also have to kill myself to keep that going as well as this.
These campaigns are a lot of work. And that's one thing I had a guest on a while back, and when we went off the air, he was just like, I really don't like this crowdfunding thing.
It's a lot of work.
I was just like, dude, you're going to have it kind of comes across when you're talking, he had decent energy when we were on the air and everything, but you could tell he just wants to like make a comic and get paid for it. and but he's not a name, like I'm not a name. So it's like, yeah, I really just want to make the comic. I don't like getting on having to do all these streams and constantly asking people, can I come on, and promoting it on Twitter and trying to, if I buy ads or should I not buy ads? And he's like, he said, I don't know if I want to do this again. He said, I've got more parts of my story and I just don't know if I want to, and I was like, well, then you don't want it. I just got to be honest.
If you're not willing to do your book tour ahead of time, you know what I mean? It's like, then you're not really giving a crap about being an author, because no matter what kind of book you have, even if you're a well-known name, you still got to go afterwards and pitch your book, even at, before and after. You got to basically whore your book out, because
absolutely, have book will travel, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got a question from Bianca Fights the Zombies in the chat. She says, what is the guest YouTube channel? So Mr. Ish, could you
if you look on my little picture there should be an @TheDrewLove. The Drew Love was good for finding me on YouTube and Twitter and even Instagram if you're looking for me there. So
right. So yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Everybody in that chat, please share this out. Hit that like button. We appreciate you guys being here and listening to us run our mouths. But here's your variant cover, same price, $20. And man, that's blowing me away about the free U.S. shipping, man.
Yeah, well, it's got to do with the pricing model I established long before I ever discovered Comicsgate. You know what I mean? Like I in my mind, I don't want to talk about it too much because there's people, because it's different for when you could pay for it up front.
Right.
And you're looking at it as an investment, then if you need to raise the money so you can actually afford to draw it. You know what I mean? That there's two sides to that. And because I was blessed enough to have my own savings to use at this, you know what I mean? I can approach it differently than guys who need this money to afford to produce it. So they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one thing that I know this income definitely allowed Kanan to take some breathing room, because he was always having to hustle and try to find new. Okay, can I draw something for you? What can I do? He was always having to hustle and get more jobs. And that was the thing. I had people try to reach out to me and go, Antonio, Kanan should only be drawing this book. He shouldn't be doing anything else. And I was like, look, okay, so at that time, it was a couple months ago. At that time, we were only at like 60-something thousand, and I'm like, okay, I'm paying Kanan, I'm paying the colorist, I'm paying the letterer. I've got reserved for the print and shipping and all the little perks. And then, then my little slice, that all that $60-some-odd-thousand is not going to Kanan. So a man with a wife and 4 children, he's not going to be able to make it on like 20,000. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. That's not enough money to. I mean, unless maybe you live in Oklahoma or something. That's not enough money to survive.
It blew me away when people go, "Why is he trying to get other work? Why is he not just sitting there drawing?" And I was like, you're not in the same situation. So if you're not in the same situation, you can't really talk about how another man should earn a living to provide for his family.
Yeah. If you're not walking in my shoes, don't try and stand in judgment of me.
Yeah, and I was really shocked by that. I was like, okay, because that's what I was trying to tell people. I was like, when Kanan came on, he had the Stranger Comics book. He was doing his book Assessa for Stranger Comics, and the Niobe universe. They just made a deal with HBO, so they're going to have the Niobe universe is going to be on HBO. It's a TV show, but he drew the Assessa book. They had that campaign going. And then right when he was supposed to take over, they gave him like about 7 to 8 more pages of script. And then they were like, "Oh, we need some more pages." And I was like, "Dude, I thought you were gonna start on mine." He was like, "Yeah, but I'm on the contract." He had because that's one thing. Me and Kanan don't actually we have a partnership, so we don't actually have a formal agreement.
Right.
We both have, part ownership of the property. That was just what we agreed to. And me and him, almost 4 years now, we just always did business like that. But he actually, had signed facts of contract back to these other people. And he had to, so brand got put on the back burner. So I was just marketing the book, and, he would do some sketches or something, but he couldn't really get into it and start laying the pages out. And then January he was done and he started working on the book, and then, and so when he just turned a few days ago page 52, which is the final page, and he's inking the cover now, and we're getting, I got colors in last night. I'm supposed to get some more later tonight. So, we're trying to, we only got like 10, 11 more pages to color plus the cover. And so, and we're getting the print file together, and I'm excited because I'm like, man, we can actually get this thing out and back to people by the end of the year. So, before Christmas comes, you should have a brand, as long as we just keep, we got to keep hustling though.
Yeah. I intend to get delivery to my people by Christmas also, because I have this campaign ending, in the middle of November, and I intend to have my order in and with Print Ninja, and I'm going to do expedited shipping for the ones that are for the campaign. So I'll know roughly how many I need for people that have ordered in the camp of my total order. I'm going to know how many are going to be specifically for the campaign, and I'll be able to get all those expedited. And because
I'm actually, when we get off the air, I'm actually going to go back to Print Ninja and get another quote with the expedited shipping, because I got Graveyard Shift from John Malin, and that was a great book. And then also just got Asgard in Ben Jones's book, and that one I know the main book was printed by Print Ninja. He also used Kraken. He also used like Kraken printing or whatever on Asgard Zero, I think he told me. So it was, and Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb was definitely done over Print Ninja. Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, that came in, and I was just blown away because I got the sketch cover and the other. I was like, yo, man, Kyung killed that, and that's another Print Ninja book. So
this is worth the investment, right? This is $25 from Print Ninja. It's their sample pack. And here I'm doing a commercial for Print Ninja. This is ridiculous, right? But they give you things in here that are like extremely good to use, like an actual printing setup guide that has paper weights in it and all kinds of different things that help you understand. Like if you don't know exactly, say if you
I got a sample pack from another company that's in the U.S. It's called Mix'em. I got a sample pack from them. They send out free sample packs. And it it had all the different kind of paperweights and stuff. And so I was actually going to go with them because they're in the U.S. and they can. They're
a good company. In fact, if you're going to do smaller orders, I would recommend doing them. If you're doing less than 1,000, that's probably the company to go with. That would be the one that I would use. Actually, I actually was told about them by one of my friends in Comicsgate. Told me about them. I checked them out. I checked out their pricing, and they are able to deliver really good quality stuff.
Yeah, all the books I've gotten that were done at Print Ninja look fantastic. The Asgard, I was telling Ben, I was flipping through the book. I was like, man, this looks great. The gloss, oh God, look at this. Everything. I was just excited. So
because they specialize in it, and they won't do stuff that's out of their wheelhouse. So they're not trying to do stuff they can't do, and you know what I mean. So it's like they're doing the same thing every day, so they become experts at it. And because of because of their, it does print out of the country. I mean, it's not like they print it here in the country, so it's a lot cheaper as overhead. And then if you're willing to pay the expedition, because it's really not that much more. I mean, if you base it on, like, if you base your numbers, like, again, if you're doing over 1,000, you base your numbers that you're spending, and you're gauging that on your price per book, because, and you think of it as a business model, and you're not just fulfilling only the Indiegogo campaign. If you're thinking, okay, I want to have more afterwards to either sell or distribute in other ways afterwards, that's I would say Print Ninja is probably the most viable resource from what I could find.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and because I know the guy that's working with me, he knows how to do the print files, but I've got 4 different covers I have to print, because I have the main cover, and I'm printing like 2,500 of those, about 1,000 of the B variant, and then like at least 500 of the Santana baby cover, and then just 100 of the blank sketch cover variant.
Right. So you might need to get a custom quote from them. You probably get it better than their quote tool.
Okay. So yeah, maybe I need to reach out, because like I said, at first it was obviously going to be Print Ninja, but
it wouldn't. Here's the thing: Print Ninja, especially because you're doing an Indiegogo campaign. Print Ninja has all kinds of little internal things that they may try to pitch you to get you to use them, and also they really want to work with people like us. is what I'm saying. Is we are the
Because
people.
that's what I was going to use it first, and then I looked at the Mix'em. Mix'em sent me a, like I said, their sample pack was great, and the prices. I was looking. Although some of them started getting up there, and I was like,
yeah. If you compare them, they again over 1,000. If you compare the prices at that point, Print Ninja it pretty much takes everybody to task. If you're talking about small print runs, you know what I mean. Print Ninja won't do one under 250, first of all, whereas Mix'em will. You know what I mean?
So you have to have a minute. Okay, so with those sketch variants, I'd have to print 250.
Right. You can't
do
that.
But I can live with that. I've got some reserve, so I could, as long as the prices afford. But like I said, I just didn't want, because everybody been waiting on the book so long. I'm looking for something to be able to turn it around quickly and get out, so we can, so I can fly Kanan out, start, shipping the books and all that kind of thing. That's that's one of the things.
They say 7 to 10 days on the expedited shipping on Print Ninja. So after the printing is done, 7 to 10 days expedited shipping.
Okay, so that's something I definitely need to look into.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the campaign people. I'm going to expedite all the books for the campaign, and then let the rest of them take their time to get here. So
okay, so man, you give me a lot to think about, man. This is okay. So, well, I'm glad we've talked, but let me go through the rest of your.
Hey, we get sidetracked because we're talking business.
But we're talking business, but we're talking comic book business, though.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of people in the audience that are interested in. They're wanting to crowdfund it. So it's not like, like at the beginning we were talking about Star Wars, but now we are definitely talking about comics and the fulfillment and all that. So this is good information, and so I don't consider this getting sidetracked, because this is definitely relevant to me, since I am fulfilling a campaign. So I definitely want to know about this stuff.
And it's probably relevant to a lot of people who are on their first comic as well, because maybe they haven't decided on which printer they're going to use. And
exactly. So,
and they're, I mean, I have a little advantage that I've worked with printers for years and years and years and years, so I understand how to reach out, how to get the right kind of quotes, how to price shop and check things out and check quality and know what's a good printer versus what's not a good printer. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, man. So, it's something that I'm familiar with. So, I mean, if especially my brothers in Comicsgate, if there's anybody that can benefit from my knowledge, I'm like happy to share it. So
that's why I was like, people, this information, people want it. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. But you've got, so your regular book is $20, and then you get just $5 more. You'll sign it. So you're not signing all the copies?
No, I'm not automatically signing them. I basically, what I have found out from talking to people in general, that a lot of people don't want a signed copy on their book. They don't want a signature on their book. And I mean, it's just personal taste. So I wanted to make sure I offered both options. So I even have like an add-on on a lot of them where you can add on a signature. And then here's the truth of the matter. Everybody who's listening to this stream, who finds me on Twitter and can DM me, if you can reach me and you want your book signed, I will sign it for you. You don't have to pay. The reason why the add-on is there is just to encourage people to, spend a little bit more money and then help them find their product. As far as if you're able to reach me directly, I mean, and I've even told this to other people. It's like, if say there's a one of these perks doesn't quite match what you're looking for, tell me what you want. I'll make you a one-off special hidden perk. I
had to do that with a few backers. But there was some people that, some of my bigger backers, they were like, Antonio, I'd like to get a bigger perk, but I had somebody that said, hey, I like the Santana baby cover. I don't want the other covers. I want like 20 of those.
Right.
And I was like, so I came up with a custom price and custom shipping, and I was like, boom, shot them that link, and they backed it. And that's how, you got to be flexible. Like, some people don't want to do that. That's why I was like, when I mentioned the guy that talked about he didn't really like doing the streams and try to crowdfund his book, I was like, dude, you ain't built for this. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, you got to be flexible. You got to be willing to talk. I mean, if you're going to be shy, you're not going to sell you're in the wrong market anyway, because you shouldn't be selling products, because books is sales. You got to be a salesman to sell your book. If you don't believe in your book, you can't expect anybody else to.
Right, exactly. So I'm just again, man, this is like I said, great conversation. I like. I'm glad that you're here. Let me see here. So. You
Now
got
this,
both covers.
yeah, original and the variant.
Still free shipping on this one too?
You know what? Actually, actually this one I designed it. It's not free shipping on
Okay,
this
okay.
one. However, I actually am considering changing that. So because I was doing some price shopping and I can actually ship both books together for the same cost as one book. So I was thinking about by making this one a hidden one and throwing it back up with free shipping. So if you're on here and you want both books and you want free shipping and you hear me talking about this, just hit me up, man. I will hook you up.
Oh, okay. Well, see,
Yeah.
see. That's what I'm saying. That's you got to be flexible to try to earn these new customers, man. That's
Well, I mean, you got to think. I'm doing this as a business model. I mean, this is not a one-off thing for me where like I'm just trying to make a buck on pimping some generic product. I want people to have this book. I'll if I have to like figure out creative ways to sell it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to cheat one person versus the next. I'm not going to give somebody who is just a stranger wants a big fat discount that that I'm not giving to everybody else. I'm not sure I will do that. You know what I mean? But if you're Comicsgate and you're a friend and you're somebody I know, or you maybe you're hard luck and you got a good hard luck story, even I might be moved to see what we can do, get you a book somehow. So.
So let me see here. Okay, so 2 books signed, 35. I'm assuming there might be a little small shipping on that, or is it?
There's shipping on that also, yeah. But that was the same thing where I'm thinking about readdressing that one and dropping the shipping off of it. I'm actually thinking about approaching all of these where I can in ways that because I went through and got creative on the UPS shipping site, what shipping cost. And domestic, I can be really creative because of the flat shipping aspects. So if I could fit this into a flat shipping box, you know what I mean, and I can get that into the price point, you know what I mean. So, but it really comes down to different things. Like this has the trading cards. Like this is a set of all 9 cards, right? So.
Oh wow! So yeah, that's kind of cool, man.
Right.
I've got one trading card coming with brand, but
right. Well, but I don't actually have the trading. It's like the trading cards. Actually, I've designed it to be where it's going to be packs of 3 cards, and I'm going to have random picks in those packs. But only on the Indiegogo campaign, only through this campaign are you going to be able to buy all 9 cards together. So you're actually able to, get all 9 cards. So you don't have to go through and buy 20, 30 packs of cards to get your entire collection.
That sounds good. Okay. And it's just $40, and I'm assuming there's some shipping on that because, like I said, as you start adding more stuff, you gotta account for shipping because that stuff is brutal.
Yeah, the shipping and handling. I mean, the shipping itself, if it was just shipping, it'd be easier. But being able to having to handle all this stuff and make sure that people get it right, and you got to put a little bit of money in there to cover that. So
it looks like you got a T-shirt here. I see.
I do.
One of everything, $60, and I know you got to have some shipping on that, right?
Yes, sir. There's shipping on that. Yes.
So you got the 9 trading cards, both covers.
That actually is that. If you click on it, it gives you the description. That one is actually a pack of 3 trading cards, but it has the T-shirt and both covers.
Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah, I see. Yeah. One book with the variant cover. Not signed though. None of this is signed. Or
no, but if you want it signed, shoot me a message. I'll know and make sure you let me know which backer you are.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, if you can also add if you want to pay me to sign it, which some people actually insist on paying to sign, and I appreciate that. You don't understand because obviously this is an important campaign. This is I'm not expecting to make all my money back, but it would be nice to. So I really don't want to do all this stuff for free, but it's important to me that you get a copy of your book. So if you want to, if funding me is important and you want to pay that extra $5, there's an add-on, and you can get your signature that way too. But you know what I mean? But if you can't do that, or you can't find the add-on or the complex, or you're struggling for money and you still want to back my book, I'll sign it. So. I want everybody to be happy and feel like they're getting something that I want everybody to be satisfied with their purchase.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like when I launched the campaign, and then all the perks said that I'll sign the books because I knew I was going to be handling fulfillment. Kanan lives like 600-700 miles away from me or whatever, so he's not down the street.
Right.
So
it's difficult. Right.
And so everybody was like, "Is Kanan going to sign the books too?" And I was like, I didn't want to. I said, I don't want to promise that because he's not here, and it would be expensive. At that point, we had already sold like 1,000 books. So.
And he's the illustrator. Technically, he can sign the artwork. So technically,
so.
my that's how my artist is signed the books. He signs the artwork.
So. Well, there you go. But I just, like I said, I kept having backers. I really want Kanan's signature too. And then when I said, okay, I talked to Kanan. Actually, I talked to his wife. And that's one of the things. I talked to Kanan's wife, which, by the way, I think it's his youngest daughter's birthday today. Because that was one of the things right before you and I went on the air. I was talking to Kanan, and he was talking about inking the cover and some of the things that we were going to do. And he's like, yeah, my daughter's birthday party's today, and obviously I wish her a happy birthday and the whole thing. But I talked to his wife. For like 20 minutes, and I was like, could I borrow your husband for like a week and have him come down here and sign these books, and so we can get everything set up? And he was like, she was like, yeah, he needs to get out of the house. So yeah, I'm gonna kick him out. So
you mean I can get rid of him for a week? Yeah.
Kanan's kind of a introvert, and he doesn't really go a lot of places. He go places with his, they go out to eat or something. He really doesn't. He just sits, and listens to his weird music. Which Kanan, I know you listen to this. I don't like your music, but it's he be playing in like weird techno disco. Well, I don't know what that stuff is. It sounds like a lot of like stuff that you would hear like on a anime or something. I don't know. It's like. Yeah. And I was like, okay. He does drawing videos sometimes on like Instagram, and he's playing like weird music in the background. I was like, what are you listening to? I don't get that. It's not hip hop or I'm like, throw some rock and roll on. I was settle for that. But I don't always enjoy Kanan's music, but but his wife was like, yeah, he needs to get out of the house. So yeah, you can borrow him.
You can borrow him,
yeah. So he's coming. And so I set that as a perk. When we crossed $60,000, that unlocked, because I had so many backers asking if Kanan could sign it in addition to myself. So, we listen to the customers, so they will get Kanan's signature on it. And so
there's no way I could get my illustrator to come from Italy and
well, that's the thing. I'm having to pay for a plane ticket to fly him down here, and then and have to feed him for a week and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there is an expense.
My illustrator won't leave. He has dogs that he's attached to and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's really attached to like riding his motorcycle in the mountains and it would be more than just an expense to get him to come to the United States. I was talking to him that if maybe 2020 if I was going to go to the San Diego Comic-Con, I would bring him to do that. And he loves the idea, but then the reality of what's he gonna do with his dogs and who's gonna watch stuff for him, and and all that becomes like stressful. So,
well, that's the thing. I actually think back to when when I had contacted Jimbo Salgado and he did that piece for us. We were on the same page as far as he was going to draw Brand, because I was like, I like he's got that. He's obviously his stuff kind of looks like Jay Lee's to me, and I was always big fan of Jay Lee's, and I was like, okay, I think this would be a good, and he liked the images Kanan did, because I remember I showed him a couple of the promo pieces, and I didn't tell him who the artist was, and I didn't know him and Kanan were friends, because when I talked to Kanan, he was like, oh yeah, Jimbo's buddy of mine, but I showed him a couple of the pieces. He's like, oh, that's sick. Is that Kanan White? And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, that's great. And he was like, yeah. He said, I think I could really do this. And so at that point, I was going to, have him. But that was one of the questions I asked him. I was like, some people might want you to sign the book or something, or maybe we do original art tier or something like that. And he said, I have been, because he's actually been to the U.S. a few times to go to some cons. I know he went down to Texas and he went to Nashville, Wizard Fest in Nashville and stuff like that. So he's actually come to the States a few times. So he was like, yeah, if I have enough time. He said we can arrange it. He said we could do like a signing or something, as long as I have enough time in advance. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean that would be important. I would personally rather have him like at a con, and if I could afford to bring him in, obviously I'd get like a table, you know what I mean, and then have people, because at that point I'm thinking that Captain Love would be, because I intend to still push marketing even after this campaign's over. you know, and try to get people to be aware of Captain Love, because there's another book coming. You know what I mean? So it's about just constantly pushing the idea of Captain Love Forever now. And
that should be a sequel, Captain Love Forever.
yeah, I that I actually had, well, I actually thought about doing a title down the road when I was kicking around titles of a Captain Love Forever as a movie title, and then somebody was like, "Oh, but Batman Forever." I'm like, "Well, thanks for spoiling it for me instantly." You know what I mean?
So let me see. Okay, your collector's pack, 100 smackers. Let me see what all you're getting here.
Yeah, that is a signed copy, an unsigned copy, and an unsigned variant, and then all 9 cards. There's also a T-shirt in that, but my stupid self didn't remember to include it in the text. But there is a T-shirt in that collector's pack.
Okay, and then the Santana's pack. I mean, why am I saying Santana? Santa's pack.
Because you're thinking about rock and roll music or something.
No. One of the villains in Brand is a Santa Claus doppelganger called Dark Santana.
Oh, well, there you go. That's
as soon as I see any automatic, but I like how you got the little Santa cap on him and all. It looks really good. I think Elliot had suggested that he could help me, because I want to do a different kind of layout with Way of the Guns campaign when we get ready to launch that. So I think I will have Mr. Fernandez help me. I've heard there's a few guys that can do these kind of graphics, and I think these look really cool. So
yeah, well, the Santa's pack basically is 3 of the book, 3 of the shirts, and 3 of the 3 packs of cards. And the idea there is that it's somebody wants to buy Christmas presents, they can, you know, cover 3 people at once by buying the Santa pack, you know. And then the mother loads the Santa pack on drugs, basically.
I see it.
Yeah. It's basically 5 books of the original, 5 of the variant, 2 T-shirts, and 5 packs of the 3 cards.
Okay, and
then the retailer's pack is designed for actual comic book store owners. So if you click on that and open it up, you'll see that it is actually a pretty substantial pack, and you don't have to be a retailer. I don't have like any kind of prerequisite for you to get this thing, but the concept here is that it has 15 of the original cover books, 10 of the variant cover books. It has 3 T-shirts in it, and 20 packs of the trading cards. Those 3 packs, you know, the 3 cards in a pack. And then this is free. I mean, it's only available in the United States as far as availability. And I actually knocked an additional 33% off my pricing model, so that the retailers would be able to make a profit selling this in their store at cover price kind of style. So
all right, because I've got a retailer pack on this campaign. I'm gonna do a bigger one because we got 6 variants on Way of the Gun. So I'm gonna do a big kind of like a kind of retailer gumbo where you're gonna have a little bit of everything, including the exclusive gaming cover that can only be bought in the 6-pack. So if you buy like the retailer's pack, I'll throw like a couple of them in there too.
Yeah. So, one thing that I'm hoping is that on the next book, Captain Love will have a more well-known name amongst retailers, hopefully at that point. So then when I'm doing a retailer pack, then I can actually also have what I would call secret perks they're called secret perks, but I mean for retailers specifically, right. Secret perks for retailers that I'll send out in email blasts that I'll pay to circulate among the retailers themselves. And so they'll basically be, hey, that you want to get Captain Love before it on its original collector's versions, the original variants and that kind of stuff that you won't be able to get anywhere else. Here, come get a retailer option here at this perk, and it'll be several different designs. Like basically think of it as a second series of perks designed specifically for retailers that most people won't need to see. So I don't have to put them on the Indiegogo campaign. So they'll just be a list of secret perks that are designed specifically for retailers.
And okay, so we got a little celebrity in the chat. We got the great Art T. Bear. It's spent about 40 years in the comic book business. Very much looking forward to Art T. Bear and his upcoming campaign, Chrono Mechanics. I know Art is getting ready to launch that, and I am very much looking forward to having him on the channel and chatting with him, because that book looks really interesting, and I'm looking forward to backing that one. So
yeah, I see Space Trucker from Mars. He follows me as well, and on Twitter. He's a really cool dude. He doesn't tweet much that I see. I don't know if I just miss his tweets, but when he tweets, it usually makes me laugh. So
well, hello, Space Trucker from Mars. Welcome to the channel, and
also that it's a space trucker. You know, that I might be just fond of that.
Now, was he a space trucker before your book?
Yes, when my book came out, Space Trucker from Mars, I noticed him right away because of that element. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so this is your last perk here. It's the nuclear option,
yes.
And it just looked like you got everything in here. Let me click on that.
That is 25 original covers, 25 variant covers, and it's domestic only, means USA only, and there is no shipping cost on this. So if you are a comic book hoarder and you see the potential value in these Captain Love books, this is your perk. Because let me just tell you why this is special. Okay, so there's two things about these books that are going to be exclusive to just this campaign. Well, if we can get to the $10,000 point, then we're going to have the title foil stamped. So you see there, where it says Captain Love in red, and then the Hero of the Cleansing in gold. That will be foil stamped. And it will only be for this print run, and that'll be it. So I'll never do that again on this book. So if we get to that point, obviously having 25 of each of those will extremely be valuable. Now, I went further with this. I was on my launch party, and Art City Comics gave me an idea of taking basically gold and marking each and every book with a gold stamp saying what book number it is. So if you're the first backer, you got book 1. You know, if you buy 3 books and you're the first backer, you got book 1, 2, and 3. You know, so that will also, the lower the number, the more valuable the book in time. So I have created a high value opportunity for these books. So.
All right, so let me get back in here, man. This is the chat. Let me see. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Did I lose everybody? Hold up. Let me see. Drew,
I hear you.
Can you still hear me? Okay, because I was like, the screen's freezing up on me. For whatever I'm looking, I've got it pulled up on my. Okay, because I was like, sometimes it takes a second to transition, but this is hopefully, okay, it looks like it's moving again. This is Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. This is Kyung Lee's book here. And as you might be able to see, he's got some foil. He's got some kind of foil stamp where it's got an individual number on it. I thought that looked real good. And then he's got the little other perks and stuff in the back. And I've got my sketch cover as well from him. And I thought, book looks great. This is, the Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb sketch. And love this thing, man. This is Kyung. He actually put a couple of comics gators in there. He's got a guy in there named Kanan early in the book and all this. So I thought it was cool. There's a guy that kind of looks like Ethan Van Sciver. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So we had a perk where people could get drawn into our book, and it's crazy, you know, as Kanan has completed the pages and drawn everybody's little cameos. I send them the preview and I go, hey, here's the page where you appear in the book. And everybody they were like, oh my God, they just love the fact that they're going to be in book 1. So that'll probably be something we'll repeat again for book 2, because it just seems like the excitement of people getting, you know, I had a guy, he paid to have his children drawn into the comic. So it was awesome. You know, his son and his daughter, he was like, hey man, can you put my son and daughter in the book? And he sent me pictures of his kids and stuff. So that was man, I was just really excited, man. But like I said, when I see projects like yours and everything, you know, it gives me hope. This is what it's supposed to be about, man. You know, just, meeting cool people and having these conversations, man. I just really appreciated meeting you here today. And
we can talk about your book. I appreciate you talking about Captain Love, but we also want to talk about brand, right?
I mean, they know brand. I was like but I mean, like I said, there's a description there, and you know, I pepper in a little brand in the conversation, but you know, you're the guest, and you know that's one thing. You know, like when I would go on Ethan's channel, I noticed even if he had a book to promote, he'll put the guest links at the top. So like when you go on my description, right at the top is Captain Love. So you know, boom, and you can click on that, and obviously I encourage anybody. And then after you get past that, you go underneath, you can see my links, my shirts, and my, you know, the download to the PDF and all that kind of stuff if anybody's interested. But man, it is awesome. But Drew, I really appreciated this conversation, man. I think you've got a winner here. I think this is a great looking book, man.
Thank you. I hope people. I was actually hoping that by the end of the first weekend I would be a little further along. But the big weekend just started. It's only Saturday night. You know, I mean, I had a modest goal of 1,500. You know what I mean? I was hoping that I'd come out the gates a little harder. But what I think is I'm just going to have to, you know, beat the feet and get in front of more people, and maybe after I, you know, drown their ears out enough times, they'll believe in the book, because this is going to be this. I want everybody to understand that this is going to be the highest of quality book. I understand what goes into making a good comic book, and I have done everything that I possibly could to find a good artist, to find the best colorist. Leather,
thumbs up on everything I'm saying. Just your interiors look really good. And F-Rod 79, that page that I showed, that I sent out in the backer update and everything. Yes, that is the 52nd page of brand. You know, we still have some color work to do. We've got like about 12 pages left, 11, 12 pages left to color, plus the cover, which Kanan hasn't inked yet. So he's supposed to, I think sometime by tomorrow afternoon, I should have the final black and white version of the cover with Kanan's inks, which I'm excited about. And he's supposed to be, you know, doing some, you know, finishing up some of the pinups and stuff like that as well, because we got to get colors on all that stuff. I just, as much work as I, you know, there's so much work to be done when you put these books together. Hopefully, as we go along, it will, you know, get easier. Maybe you know, if you grow a business to a large enough level, you can bring in people, you can hire them and stuff, you know, that kind of thing.
Definitely. You know, I'm excited to see how this goes. You know, I mean, regardless, even if I mean, again, I have a modest goal. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit it eventually. You know, but even if I didn't hit it, I would still, you know, make a buy from Print Ninja and, you know, expedite the books that I need and make sure everybody got their books before Christmas. So,
yeah. So let me see. What is it about the print file that is daunting regarding finalizing the books? Well, some of the let me say that, because that's one of the things. If you watch your boy Zach's channel, that first Jawbreakers print file wasn't quite right, and which is why he did Jawbreakers Remastered. There were little errors in it. There were some things with some of the way it was set up where the page didn't print properly. You know, that's why he remastered the file and launched it again to raise like another $50,000. So, you know, although it sounds like from talking to him, because he's like real anal about wanting to get it right out of the first time. So this time with Jawbreakers Guide King, it sounds like he said he actually brought in a guy that is more knowledgeable about it. So it's going to get, because I have some guys that are helping me with the print file, but yeah, you got to make sure it's right, because if you don't, I'm going to print the book and there's going to be errors in it. It's like stuff will be off center and things like that. And then the customers are going to be like, well, we waited all this time and you didn't even get that right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, you know, I already have that skill set, because I've been doing, you know, printing and pre-press and print production for, you know, like I said, for over 20 years. So, you know, setting up a print file is pretty easy, especially since whatever printer you're working with usually either offers you a template or a complete instructional of what they expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My guy, he's worked on a few like books that got sent through like Print Ninja, and he looked at the Mixum template as well, and he was like, yeah, I think I can easily set that up. He's like, I just got to make sure it, like you said, you got to make sure, because once you actually go, okay, this is the file, and you print,
it's done.
It's a wrap at that point. And then all of a sudden I'm gonna get, because we try to make sure and go through and catch spelling errors and stuff, all that. You just gotta make sure,
it's important to have somebody do your editing. Somebody who did not write the book to do the editing. Because let's just be real here. All right. I don't catch my mistakes if they're there.
Exactly.
I will run over it, not see it. But I actually, if I didn't have an editor to read the book and tell me, some of the basic mistakes that I might have been making, if I didn't have somebody do that for me, I might have actually released the book in both present and past tense.
Well, see, and that's the thing. My editor, Amanda Lamella, is the editor on Brand, and she went through the little thing, and she tears through it like a fine-tooth comb, catches all my little weird spelling mistakes, and even sometimes she corrects things. Like I try to have it more plain English, like with contractions and stuff like that. And he's like, you might want to change this. So she'll go in and fix certain things. I was like, well, I definitely want to leave that the same, because I want him to be more of a
I find having editing point not on the script but afterwards, because when you're lettering, I don't know because like lettering is its own art, you know what I mean? And
I've got a great letterer.
Yeah. So. But when you're lettering, sometimes you move the words around, you know what I mean? And if you write the book and letter it like I do, I actually have at that point actually.
Are you lettering the book yourself?
Yes, I lettered it already. It's lettered.
Oh wow. Okay. I was like, because I'm gonna be I haven't seen. I don't think you showed any pages with.
There's a few on there. But you know what? Actually, if you want, I will.
If you can do screen share, let me see. Let's show.
Let me open up my my file real fast. I know I did it. So where did I put it?
Because I'm gonna be honest, I had somebody on a couple weeks ago. Nice guy, and he lettered the book itself. It looked like shit, bro. And I was like, oh. God, it looks like shit. And I was so, oh God, I was cringing. I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, dude, spend a few dollars, man.
Well, the thing is that it's amazing how people don't realize how important lettering is. And if you're not somebody who studies, this kind of stuff in detail and is not like all anal about detail specifics. There, I popped the PDF if you want to screen share that.
Okay, yeah, I see it. It's let me boom. All right.
So like in here, you see there's some lettering. Every page is, the lettering is done on this. So here is Spade, and with Captain Love, this is actually how it looks like she's like appearing in his eye right here, where she's saying hi. Okay. She's actually popping up, so that's his view. His POV. So let's see here. Let's see a page that like has like some narration on it. You know what I mean? Just it's like with lettering, there's a lot of different approaches, but it's really important that when you're lettering, you have enough space around the words. You know what I mean? That it's kind of evenly proportioned. You have to, sometimes you might want to reword it. If you're the writer and the letterer, the beauty is that sometimes you can reword things to make it look more aesthetically pleasing in the letter bubble.
Yeah, because I thought, to me, and this is my thought. Okay, I felt like I looked at the book in different facets as far as Brand. I see Kanan's art as one character, and then the colors themselves are a different character, and then the letters are a different character. You know what I'm saying? The reason I say it like that is because we working on the page to get the final colors on this morning, and when I saw it, the demons that kind of showed up, I was like, no, the color's off, and he was like, he didn't understand, and I was trying to explain. If you see some of the images of Brand with the masks in Brand are important, like David has this floating mask called Penance. And he floats around and he's like AI, and he can like transform into vehicles and do all this. He's got different abilities. But the masks in brand, there's three types of masks. There's the black mask, a red mask, and a white mask.
Okay.
And the white mask, which is what penance is, that represents soul magic. So the red masks are like physical traits, like enhanced speed, strength, quicker healing, that kind of thing. So, and then the black masks are shadow magic, illusion, stuff like that. So it's supposed to be mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
That's what the three different colors of the mask are. So when you see Penance floating around, he's kind of got that blue flame floating, trailing him and stuff. And Kanan draws that so beautifully. That is, that's why I want him to look. But then, like, the character Gaiman is a red mask character, so when his mask floats, it shouldn't be that bluish trail floating behind him. It should be red because it's the you know what I'm saying. And
yeah,
then
that
like
makes sense.
and then the black masks, when they're floating around, it should have that kind of grayish charcoalish tint, just to represent the different aspects that we're going. And when I explained that to the colorist, he goes, "I didn't know that." So when he goes back and he goes, okay, so like the Reaper's coming, and the Reaper is devouring soul. That's soul magic. So that should, I want the color scheme to be consistent with that.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you look here, you see two different colors of speech bubbles. Like, Spade has her own color, and she has her own little, speech tail. You know what I mean? It's like a little lightning bolt. Is to identify, because a lot of times she's like, you don't see her. She's talking from his head. So you have to identify her, separately, because they could both be talking. Like, actually, let me find one where that's the case, where she's actually talking from his head, and you have to realize where that's her talking versus the other people. Like, here we go. See, like, so here she is. She's talking from his head, and he hears her, and nobody else hears her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like. It's also, this one's, she's a little bit faint, as far as hearing it. That's why it's a little transparent. Just these little nuances, but at the same time, it still has to be legible. So if you look, I actually added a glow around the font itself to make sure that the letters popped at full color, even though the speech bubble is like a little bit transparent. So
okay, yeah, the lettering looks really good, by the way. So okay,
I had to do it twice. I had to learn. The first, I did it wrong the first time, and then I had to go back and fix it. So.
And the one that the person I was talking about, when he did his, all the boxes were like real square and stale, and I was like, oh god, man, what is this?
Yeah, I'm fond of traditional. Some people like to have crazy looking speech bubbles or rectangular with rounded ends speech bubbles or whatever. I really like the oval speech bubbles. I think that if I'm not going to go oval, it's got to be for a specific reason. Like I did here. Like here, I gave the original computer voice on Love's Holler, before he met Spade and she took over the computer. I gave it its own, speech bubble shape to try and give it that whole, robot-y kind of, stale sound, a representation, kind of just made it different, kind of sharp edges, kind of a sharp sound, kind of shrilly, kind of, just trying to give it that feel. And then like over here, when he's getting a message from the space station itself, it also has another kind of, because sure, it's talking from the space station. I didn't want to make it look like too much like a computer broadcast, because it's a person talking. You know what I mean?
But look great, man. These look great. These look fantastic, man. Great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I have put everything into these. I want this to be. I want Captain Love to be something that people look at and say, this was just awesome from the beginning to end. There's something I do want to show everybody here since I have this open. Let's see here. This excites me. Yeah, the Holler itself is basically a character on this in these stories. So we gave the Holler its own diagram here. Oh, sweet. Okay. So you can see, like, we do change up a little bit. I mean, you can't. I mean, we found that when we first did this, we did modify things slightly here and there. You know what I mean? So this is, so it's not 100%. Like, if anybody wants to be a stickler, they're like, oh, but that's not just like that. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, we changed it. But for the most part, this is how the Holler is laid out. So if you look, the Holler is basically 3 stories, right? we have the star deck, and then you have the actual main bridge, and then you have the entire lower area. This is basically the living area where he has a couple of bunks, his toilet, all his little storage areas. And then back here is all main, dock storage area. And then there's also dock storage up on the top. And there's a lift that goes from the lower area to the top. And there's actually storage in both areas. And then up here, it's, mostly machinery and most armament on the top. You know what I mean? They have windows up there to look through. So it's, hopefully I was original enough with it to where it has that whole, like you said, bus kind of, truck kind of, tank looking kind of feel. You know what I mean? Because it's got to be tough if you're going to be hauling things in space. You're going to be catching stray asteroids. You're going to be catching of course pirate attacks. You gotta be ready.
Right, man. Yeah, but again, book looks really cool, man. I'm glad that we were able to at least get you one backer here today.
Yeah,
and I
appreciate that. One's better than none. One's better than none. We're just hammer them out one at a time.
Yeah, well, that's how you got to do it, man. You got to get them one at a time, man. But that helps put you closer towards your goal. And like I said, as more people watch the stream and see and hear you talk about your project, I think people are gonna fall in love with it because it really looks great. And I think you did a great job with the project, man. I'm really impressed with it. So
thank you very much. I'm hoping that I can get it in front of a lot more people. I mean, I'm not counting on, like making an Ethan stream and John Malin won't even have a stream until my book is off the thing. So, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of, just hoping that I can actually make a decent impact with it. I mean, it's like if I had the audience.
Have you reached out to War Campaign or any of those guys?
Oh yes, actually, on my channel, I actually did a review, an interview with Gat and the real Steve Dye on the Vestige book.
Oh, okay, cool. That's what I'm saying. Reach out and those guys.
Those guys are my friends, and eventually, I'm sure they'll have me on a War Campaign. But I'm not gonna. I mean, they're my friends. So I'm not gonna beat them up. Hey, man, give me on War Campaign. Give me on War Campaign. I would rather that that it was like, okay, we're ready to have you on War Campaign. You know what I mean? Because then it'll be like a hard push for me. Not me begging, but them believing in what I'm doing, and it'd all be right.
There's nothing wrong with asking, though. I mean, seriously, like you sent me a message like, "Hey, can I come on?" I was like, "Yeah." So
I asked. I've asked. It's I'm just waiting for them to. Yeah.
I was like, but yeah, Drew, tell them how they can reach out to you, brother. If like give them your social medias, all that kind of stuff. If anybody wants to, link up with you, man, and let folks.
So you can find me on youtube.com/The Drew Love, as it shows here in the little icon right there, the little The Drew Love LUV. That's also on Twitter and on Instagram. That's how you can find me on all those platforms. If you're trying to reach me and I don't follow you, just tweet me. Say, hey, follow me, and I'll follow you if I'm not following you.
Yeah, we'll see. I like that, man. I like that. Drew, it's been a pleasure, having you here. I think, there's a couple of books I've had over the last few weeks that are, really professional and special looking. And I'm proud to have showcased you here today. I think this is a great looking project, and I wish you the utmost success with it, sir.
Thank you so much, Antonio. I really appreciate you helping people out like you're doing. I mean, the people like me who don't have the reach, don't have the fan base. This is the only way we're going to get in front of people. So what you're doing is everything to us. So
yeah, that's what. Like I said, man, this community is shown me a lot of love, man. So I want to help build it. I want to help promote it and showcase a lot of these great creators like yourself. Because like I said, there's so many cool projects out there, and it's good to get some eyes on them, man. Because who knows? There's somebody that saw you here tonight and be like, oh man, that looks cool, and they're willing to put their hard-earned dollars behind it. That means a lot, So I appreciate that. So
yeah, I appreciate every single client I'm getting. And like I said earlier during the stream, if one of my perks isn't working for you, you need something different than what I'm offering, reach out to me and we'll figure out a way to get you a book. So
all right, all right. You heard it, folks. Go out there and back Captain Love, man. I think this book looks great. Drew is, looks like a great creator and real smart, business minded about how he set his campaign up. Some people just slap something together and and then they're like, it's not working. Nobody's possible. Like I said, sometimes it's a marathon. It's climbing a mountain, and you just have to go one step at a time. And, like I said, this is my third time on a campaign, and finally it broke through after 2 failures. So, I think you're going to get funded and then some. I think I'm definitely going to tweet this out a few more times and try to help you promote it, because I'd like to get some eyes on it. I think this is a good looking project, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and anytime you want to, I mean, my audience on my channel is probably not even near as big as yours, but if you want to come on my channel, man, I'm happy to have you on, talk about your book, and we can talk about brand the whole time. So
okay, well, thank you. As again, always have book, will travel. But all right, guys. This is like I said, a real fun stream. I've enjoyed talking with Drew, but as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel, everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in akaripress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Drew Eash, Captain Love, back that book. I'm out.
thank you.